disrespect and racism abuse. It took me a whole week to really fully recover, rely on the destination to be happy. Like, Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, a really big welcome. So today I really needed to make this video, but honestly I was like delaying it. I do want to get back into being consistent on here, even though the views have been so demotivating, but at the same time, like, if you're gonna fall off like that and just like stop creating, then kind of gonna happen. Also, I just felt like I would say a third of you guys are on here because of my teaching content, and you know, you've either come across an NQT video or a PGCE video and you kind of follow my journey, and I'm really appreciative of that. So I felt like I had to make this video for you guys, because this is, I don't know what the title says, but this is where I'm at right now with my teaching journey. I want to start this video off by saying that the love of teaching will always be with me. It always has been within me, and it will never leave me. I love teaching so much. I know that doesn't always come across in all my videos because I'm always going to keep it real. Like, if you're first of all somebody who is looking for a super motivational, inspiring video about teaching, this is not the one. And if you're like on the fence about it and you're not wanting to watch anything that's going to tip you over to the leaving side of teaching, leave now please. Like, press X, this is your warning. At this stage of my life and at the age of 26, I am the most authentic and myself I've ever been in front of the camera. If I look back to my videos from 2017, kind of cringy because I'm like very robotic and stiff and like, you know, I'm just not 100% myself, and now I am. I've grown into myself, you know. Anyway, enough about that. Yeah, I love teaching. I literally, from the age of 17, I started my first ever job as a tutor, and then I was continuing to be a tutor throughout my university degree. Then my PGCE, I had to stop doing that and I actually really missed it. But then obviously my PGCE was the year where I was training to be a teacher, and then I've now been a teacher for 4 years. Some of you will have known my journey of, you know, planning to move abroad and have that experience, which would have been incredible, but for so many reasons it didn't happen. Like I said in my last video about this, I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I've had here in Scotland in terms of the range of things I've been able to do as a teacher. Stuff that I would not have been able to do if I just stuck to the traditional being a classroom teacher and not going down the supply route. I can't explain like the impact you can have on young people's lives as a teacher. Like, it genuinely fills my heart up, and that's the reason why teachers don't sit there and complain all day every day about their salary, even though it's pathetically underpaid. And even though teaching is a career that, you know, it's one of the only jobs, you think about it, that you're working before you start the hours that you're supposed to be working in. Then you're working during that time, and usually like during your lunchtime, and then you're working afterwards into the evening, and you're also working on the weekend. And these amazing holidays that teachers get, a lot of it is consisting of actually working for your job. So when you actually look at it, like, the amount of effort and hard work that goes into being a teacher is pretty incredible. Do you know what has really made me rethink this career and made me for the first time in my life think that actually teaching is not going to be something that I'm just going to keep coming back to, is the amount of disrespect and racism and abuse that we are expected to tolerate. Just the fact that we are expected as teachers to come into work, be disrespected, for nothing to really happen, and then for the cycle to keep repeating itself, blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. When I think about the fact that my primary school experience was one of the best years of my life, I love school, that's why I wanted to be a teacher myself, right? When I actually think about the fact that I put in so much effort and hard work to get to where I am today in terms of my career, and then even like day to day, planning a day of lessons for any class that you're teaching, that's a lot of effort, that's a lot of hard work, that's a lot of your own time that you're putting into this job. To then leave your job and feel so dejected and feel so, like, I can't even express in words the impact that it can have on a person. I'll just give you a couple of examples. For me, like, the stress came out in 3 physical ways: through insomnia, that was through my dermatitis flaring up, my skin condition, and my hair falling out. Those are 3 of the effects that I've had from feeling incredibly stressed out about being in an environment where the treatment is just, it's just not at all anything like what I had expected, what I'd wanted. When you think about a teacher, you think about someone who comes in to do their job, which is to teach, and not someone who is fighting fires all day. The behavior management like side of things takes over their lives, and all the while like they're being told like, you know, it kind of just is how it is. And I just can't fathom the fact that like this is a state of teaching in today's day and age. And look, I don't know if it's because this generation is just completely different to my generation. I don't know if it's just because of the pandemic. I don't know if it's because of like the fact that, you know, these kids have been raised on the internet. The respect just isn't there. And I did not work this hard. I did not put in this much effort and time and energy into going into a job which I start dreading every day, into feeling like I am drained and we've only been back for 2 weeks, being sworn at, just being completely disrespected, having racist remarks said to me or indirectly about me. I just think a lot of the times people forget that teachers are first and foremost humans, and it just seems like we're expected to just take it. And I'm done. Like, I'm actually done. And I know it's such a privilege to be able to say that. I 100% understand why the statistic for why teachers leave within 5 years of qualifying is this high. I get it. I'm kind of part of that statistic. Now, I'm not saying that I'm never going to go back to the classroom, and realistically I probably will end up going back at some point next year. But what I do know is that if I try and go back in the next academic year without having a good chunk of time to really reevaluate what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, you know, why I'm here, I'm not going to do anyone justice. Not myself, not my fellow staff, and certainly not my students. So I'm taking another break from teaching. But this time it's definitely a intentional break. Last time obviously it was out of my control, and I pushed myself to not walk away, and I'm glad I did. But at the same time it was almost detrimental to my mental health, my mental well-being. It took me a whole week to really fully recover or like get back to a place of normality. I had lost like all my passion for everything else, and I just think that I hadn't taken my own mental well-being seriously enough, because that's what, as teachers, that's what we do. We always want to support other people. To have so much teacher guilt, even if we are being bombarded with threats, abuse, awful behaviour, it's just part and parcel of who we are. And I think that's what I'll always admire about teachers, is that the vast majority of them are incredibly selfless and they just take it on the chin. But for me, I am not here for it anymore. Say hello to YouTube. I mean, he's been in like a bunch of vlogs, but this is his first real video. Hey Rumi, look. Because of the amount of negativity that I endured towards the end of it, I just feel like I took a lot, and I really need to take now a lot of time to kind of see where my next steps are. Thought of a few different things, but I haven't come to a solid plan, a solid conclusion. I think when a career or when a job starts severely impacting you as a person past the point of, oh, I'm just tired from work, where it's like actually impacting you in different ways, then I think it's time to really reevaluate like why you're doing this and what the pros are, what the cons are. And when you actually sit down to make that list, give yourself grace, because I know if you're a teacher and you're watching this, like, you've put up with so much more than a lot of other people ever could or ever would. And there was a big part of me that felt this like sense of shame to even sit down to try and make this video, to articulate my words, to explain how I'm really feeling. You know, when I actually look at like my friends who I went to school with, like, Alhamdulillah, mashallah, Allahumma barik, they're all doing amazing in their fields. They're all set in their careers. Most of them, let me say most of them, before someone watched this and was like, girl, you know I am not. Most of them are. And I was like starting to feel a little bit like I was having a midlife crisis, but then I was like, hang on, you're 26. It's not midlife, inshallah. You're not a terrible person for walking away from something that doesn't serve you. And at the end of the day, being a teacher, you are serving other people. But the least you should expect back is respect. The very, very least. the very least, the journey that I've been given has been like this. And that's why I don't want to say, like, I'll never say never. I just also want to clarify that this video is not about any school in particular. I've had very similar experiences in most of the schools that I've worked in, and I just feel like it's just a generational problem, to be honest with you. And then on the flip side, there's always going to be really positive parts of your job. Like for me, in this last school I worked in, I had the most incredible, supportive, lovely, funny co-workers who even for a pandemic were just so there for each other and for me, and without them I know I would have just walked away. So they are absolutely a highlight of the job. And there's also going to be children who are genuinely make your day when you see them and speak to them, and there's always going to be positives. But I just think that the fact that we are just expected to come into work and put up with disrespect, no. So where do we go from here? I've known probably since, I want to say, January, that I feel like this is coming, you know, this intentional break / end of this career. Essentially, there's a couple of things that I am looking into doing / already doing. You will have possibly heard of my page, Iqra Photography, which I am trying to build more, get this into a little side hustle for the time being. I know there's money to be made there, I just need to figure out how, and going from being employed to being self-employed is a very big jump. It's super actually challenging. You're doing so many roles, very similar to teaching in that sense, but the difference between teaching and photography for me is that photography has always been such a passion of mine. So a part of me is slightly in fear about the thought of making it into a career and then hating it. Hopefully that won't be the case. My kind of idea to prevent that is to not make that my full-time gig, and to kind of not have a full-time gig. I have been incredibly spoiled this last year and a half by working part-time and having a life outside of the house, but also having so much more time for myself, for my dean, for my family, my friends. Yeah, I just feel like this is the way life should be, and if it's possible for you, do it. Switch over. So yeah, my kind of idea is to have that as a side hustle, and then possibly go into a different career route, but without going to university, because I feel like I've got more than enough student loans on my back right now. I have some ideas. I'm not pushing myself too hard to decide what I want to do, and I know that that's a massive luxury. The biggest thing that I'm learning is that I am happier, and that's so important. I just feel like too many of us rely on the destination to be happy. Oh, when I am this, I'll be happy, or when I get this, I'll be happy. But the amount of time and effort it takes to get to there should be taken into account. And if you are miserable for the majority of that, then is the end goal even worth it? You know, that's what I think. And then from a spiritual perspective, if all of this is contributing to me neglecting my deen, not even being able to do my 5 prayers a day, let alone on time, then what's the point for a paycheck for what? You know, don't get me wrong, I will miss the nice, reliable paycheck from teaching even part-time, but it is what it is, and I probably will be back. You'll probably see a video in a couple of months back in the classroom, but I might not be. And I wanted to make that really clear on here because I feel like I've always been super open with you guys on my teaching journey, and like I said, so many of you have watched my teaching journey and come along the journey with me, and I really appreciate that. And I probably will still create teacher content now and again because I know loads of you guys love it. And look, yes, I did not have the best end to this short journey at the moment, but it does not mean that I haven't got really key, important, useful, helpful things to share with you. So if you still want to see those videos, let me know. But yeah, I hope this kind of explains where I'm at. I'll see you on Thursday for a chai get ready with me video, and yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye.